Alright, folks, turn 35 of Mirrorpoint. Things are going according to plan. We've just claimed the Inner Throne. Bugsy Seagull is now hopping underwater to attack Nariun Sea, Lake Fortune, and then he'll swing through to clear out these provinces. We have broken the fort at Aurum, and we are set to storm. We've got our army stacked up to charge through the gates. We've got our teleporting thug boys in the back. We should be pretty good. Now, we might run into a huge face full of magic, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be mostly chaff troops in there, and I think we have the oomph to take them on. Now, what we might want, we have hit alteration level 5, so we have access to Maws of the Earth. There's an argument to be made for waiting one turn to get, it would actually be 2 turns, I guess. Well, or Manhalte could take him. Yeah, there's an argument to be made for waiting one turn to get some gems, except, of course, I'm out of Earth gems for this turn, so... Well, we're gonna do it live. We're casting a whole bunch of remote site searching spells this turn, and we're sending them to repeat. Bunch of Voice of Apsu, bunch of Augury, a couple of Dark Knowledges, and a couple of... I think we're doing a couple of Astral Probings, aren't we? We should be, if we're not. Arcane Probing, yeah. Can you hit something with Arcane Probing? Yeah, hit good water with Arcane Probing. Just to see what you can see. I think most of these other ones we've already probed. Yeah, we're up to 9 Astral on a lot of these provinces. Not Mountains of Evernight, though. We are searching Mountains of Evernight with Ilohar, and we're going to move Monomon, Ergun, and where's a Deathcaster? Finball. Over there, all to site search. So our research is taking a bit of a hit this turn, which is okay. It's going to take us a couple turns to get up to alteration level 6, but like I said, that'll be alright. In terms of money, we are upgrading this fort. Beyond that, we're not building a whole lot. We're recruiting troops and mages. We're recruiting mages pretty much everywhere, troops only in a few places. Farrell is moving south to help out with the whole shindig. We've got some mannish soldiers right here in Pronda, and overall, I think we're doing fine. Drangleic is getting eaten. We have successfully infiltrated both Drangleic and Ulm this turn, so we're going to sneak our scouts and spies away for the moment to avoid them being killed. So we can actually look at the stats. In terms of provinces, we are now significantly ahead of Ulm, at least by a couple of provinces. Our precipitous climb as we invaded Orem has given us that. In terms of forts, we're ahead of actually everybody at the moment. Except possibly Satis. In terms of income, Satis was already way above us back then, and they're probably even higher above us now, or at least they may be like right here. We may have closed the gap a little bit, but we're well above both Ulm and Drangleic. Gem income and research. I don't know why I got to see Drangleic's gem income and research. I'm not sure what caused that, but in any case, we're doing fine. And in terms of army size, we're a tiny, tiny bit above Ulm. Now, Ulm had a battle with Anor Londo over here in Green Gate. I'm sorry, with Aurum. They attacked Orem's army that was moving into their territory, and they pretty much wiped it out, with very few casualties. Ulm does have Garnet Sorceresses, which is worrying. I presume they're coming from here, because this is a... Oh, no, that's not a wasteland. They must be coming from the Cracked Earth or Kazdupar, I guess. Because I think Garnet Amazons only spawn in wastelands. And I think those are the only 2 wastelands they've got. So, yeah. I think that's the case. In any case, Ulm and Man, I believe, have resolved their war, question mark. It looks like Ulm is still besieging this temple here in Helmshire. But in any case, Ulm has Garnet Sorceresses from somewhere. I kind of need to figure out where they're coming from, because that's worrying. Middle-aged Ulm with blood is a terrifying idea. And yeah, overall they're doing pretty well. They've got a big old stack on Ulm. They've got a pretty solid stack over in Hipperbochi. So I'm a little bit worried that they might be coming for me. If they do, okay, so the thing about this is, I have this mobility. My Soul Warriors can be anywhere, so I can drop pretty effective thugs on the head of anyone I want at literally any time, and I can steal provinces, and unless you literally guard them all, there's no way to stop me. So I don't think Ulm really wants to be fighting a war against me. And I've talked to them, and we had kind of agreed that we were going to go in against Anor Londo. I thought. So hopefully that's what we'll be doing. I've got lots and lots of scout visibility in Anor Londo. I've got them pretty much blanketed. They have... I don't think they can keep me off their capital if I go in hard, but that army up there, if that army withdraws, it could hit me pretty hard. So the thing to do is, while they've got all their troops up here, finish off Aurum, and then kind of go looking for the next target. Honestly, what I'd like to do would be to either fight Satis or swing over and finish off Man, because Man is in a weak position. You know, they've been pushed by Ulm. I'm bigger and stronger than I've ever been. This would be the time to either go fisticuffs against one of the game leaders, or start chewing up another small power in order to get everything that I can out of them. Satis is coming in against Orem as well. So, obviously, as I said last turn, they're going to be picking off as many provinces as they can, and I kind of want to get down there to take some territory before they can, but I have to spend one more turn taking Orem itself. And that's very worth it because of all the gem income and stuff I'll get from the High Temple, the Golden Tower, the income in general, etc. So we're going to grab that. Definitely going to want to grab Green Coast and this fort as well. So if I can end up with kind of this territory and Satis ends up with that down there, that's fine. That's okay with me. That will be a decent division. So, that's the turn. And we'll see you all in turn 35. Like I said, everything's going pretty well. After that early bad war with Drangleic and the bug fix and all, we're recovering. Now, we're mostly recovering, of course, because I said Orem wasn't able to put up too much of a fight, especially after their special national events were disabled by a bug. So, we'll see. Overall, I think I'm in a good position. Anor Londo or Man, I think, will be next on the target list. Or, like I said, I might... If Ulm decides they want to fight a war, we might end up fighting a war with Ulm, but we'll see. Hopefully not. And I would love to get Quellen into Satis so I can see their graphs as well. In any case, see you in turn 36. Alright, folks, Mirrorpoint turn 36. Let's read the messages. First of all, there was a battle in Aurum. Aurum actually broke out of their fort, and we can see what happened there. So, I have my army here, and my thugs, and I was feeling pretty good about this, but Executor playing Aurum did something very, very clever. He brought a bunch of gelatinous cubes, and I hadn't been thinking about these. Remember, I used gelatinous cubes myself, and they failed miserably, but that's because I was using them in the wrong way. First of all, I didn't buff their protection, and secondly, I was using them alone instead of as a support unit. So this is what gelatinous cubes are actually really good for. He's got, with his army, a Bane Lord that he's summoned for leadership, and he has a Bane Blade, which is a magical weapon, so it negates invulnerability. That's useful. And cuts through ethereality. He's got a Publican, who of course spawns free units. And he's got a bunch of his mages, including several Paragons. So he's Liber the Paragon here. Earth 1, Astral 2. These Paragons are Earth 3, Astral 1, both of them. That's important. And who else? He's got a whole bunch of his Golden Priestesses who don't really do a whole lot in this battle. Yeah, it's mainly about the Paragons and the Gelatinous Cubes. And this Paragon here is Fire 2, Earth 1. So watch what happens. We're all casting our buff spells, getting started. He's dropping his Blessing on all of the hoplites and everything. We cast Anti-Magic to buff everybody's magic resistance, because we desperately need that. He's summoning Will-o'-the-Wisps, he's doing all sorts of summons, and now he starts dropping Gifts from Heaven. Gifts from Heaven is a very good counter to my army. It gets a lot of kills, because it hits my blocked up chaff, and it also kills great sentries in one hit, if he manages to hit them. So he's getting really, really good damage from the Gifts from Heaven, especially because my troops are all clogged up trying to fight his Will-o'-the-Wisps. In the meantime, my thugs have landed in the back line, alright? And I think we actually weren't looking when this happens. One of them has already been swallowed by a gelatinous cube, because that is what gelatinous cubes do. They trample over units and swallow them. So we can see here, where do they go? Brutus Alarm, Mossonites, Mountain Shaman's Paragons. One of his Paragons has actually been killed by a Soul Warrior who dropped in and hit him with a Frostbrand once. One of these guys either has or soon will be swallowed. Very, very good counter to the Soul Warriors, which otherwise he doesn't have a great answer to. So this Soul Warrior is getting slowly trampled by the Publican, but he's doing fine. This Soul Warrior over here doesn't have the Vine Shield, so he's actually a lot more vulnerable. but he's also still doing okay. We're getting fire spells dropped in the front line, and my chaff begin to rout. So, I'm going to speed things up. In the back, the Soul Warriors. This Soul Warrior is about to get attacked by a fire elemental. Now, he happens to be resistant to fire because of the Golden Hoplon, so it takes him a long time to die, but he's also under attack by this Bane Lord, and so the Bane Lord is going to kill him. Meanwhile, Teleport's behind you is surrounded by troops, he's in his element, he's doing fine. But, as I said, his compatriot has actually been swallowed by a gelatinous cube. Meanwhile, my army is fighting the Golden Hoplites, and pretty much anywhere my Great Sentries go, they make mincemeat out of the Golden Hoplites, but that alone can't win the battle because we're taking up damage that we're about to trigger HP rout. We also routed a significant portion of the enemy mages and killed several of them, but Teleport's behind you, the Soul Warrior is completely surrounded, my commanders are routing off the field, these two are actually broken, they're just stuck on the field for fatigue reasons. And so my troops haven't quite routed yet. And a couple more gifts from heaven sparks the chain rout. So all of my troops run off the field, including that Soul Warrior back here, who otherwise might have been able to actually pull it off against this army. Maybe the Fire Elementals would have got him. But here's the key thing. Lars, thugged out Lars, carrying gear, went out to take on the other provinces nearby. And he's just carrying whatever gear he could happen to forage for them. But it's enough. Because Lars, which are a nature summon, are naturally ethereal, and his Bless, of course, has the Undying and the extra HP. He's got luck on them, he's got the Auto Bless from the Flask of Holy Water, because they can't actually bless themselves. Charcoal Shield, Dragon Helmet, just whatever gear he happens to have. And they cut through the province defense perfectly fine. So in Ghent and in Golem range, that happens. And as a result, when we retreat from the battle in Aurum, otherwise, so this battle in Aurum, I'd lost, but not by a huge amount. I killed 2 of his priestesses, I killed a Lar, which is an expensive summon, I killed a Paragon, which is an expensive capital-only, or a slow-to-recruit capital-only mage, and I killed 100 of his Sacreds. So that's 3,000 gold worth of Sacreds right there. I killed a bunch of gelatinous cubes, so that's 40 water gems down the tube. You know, and I still, looking at the casualties here, I'm like, the biggest loss by far is the 2 Soul Warriors. The gems that they came with, huge loss. That's like over 100 gems for those 2. But overall, 20 Great Sentries for 100 Golden Hoplites, a bunch of chaff, it would be okay. Except he cut off my retreat. So all of my units and all my commanders, gone. That turns the battle into a rout. That turns it into a very serious defeat. So, Orem successfully breaks out of their capital. They also reclaim a couple of these units. I'm pulling back to Damen. Especially because I've now lost all 3 of my Soul Warriors, and so I need to get some more. And I probably need to gear them more lightly. That's true, I was over-gearing them. Realistically speaking, I should be using them for raiding, and for raiding purposes, they just need the Vine Shield and a weapon. That's about it. Now, I need more Nature Gems, because I don't have many, and that was one of my Nature Gem incomes there. But we'll do what we can. It shouldn't be too bad of a problem. I should be able to recover here, rally, and go back in, especially because I will be hitting Alteration level 6 pretty soon, at which point I'll start spamming out Green Lions, which I don't think he has a great answer to. I mean, Gifts from Heaven can help, but it's not a great answer. Got a whole lot of preaching going on over here. Pud is taking some troops. Where? Pud, what are you doing there? Still casting a number of remote site searching spells, because when we cast all those remote site searching spells, we did find several sites, actually. So we didn't find any of the arcane probing. What did we find them with? Augury, dark knowledge. We found a death site down south. We found an earth site underwater. We found another earth site up here. So our earth income went up by 2, and our death income went up by 1 this term, which is great. But it just means I need to keep kind of holding on. This province is really good, actually. This province is giving me 2 gems per turn. So Earth Gem income, good. Water Gem income, good. Fire Gem income, Astral Pearl income, good. Death Gem income, pretty solid. Monhelte, the White Mage, is searching for death sites down here. And like I said, we're doing a lot of remote site searching. We're pumping out Hallownest Lancers now. And that's not because they're particularly good fighters. It's just because they can push the fort siege defense of Damen up to a point where he can't actually break in. Because he doesn't have many units left. Actually, to be honest, we've already got 52 flying in, so I don't know that we need to recruit more down here. the problem with the warrior bugs is their morale. Their morale is just not good. And in order to make up for that, I would need to be forging... I would need to have them led by Bugsy Seagull. Bugsy Seagull gives +4 morale in total, because he's inspirational +3, I'm sorry. He gives +5 morale. So if I have Bugsy Seagull leading an army, then the warrior bugs will hold, because then they have morale 14 base. But absent that, I need to forge inspirational items like the Helmet of Heroes and such in order to make them really useful, because otherwise they're just kind of routing really, really quickly every battle. I'm still going to spam out a whole bunch of them here because I can actually bring Bugsy Seagull over to do that. But, it's not the best. They're almost getting in the way more than they're being useful, to be fully honest. Great Stags have actually pretty good morale. And, of course, they trample, so they're nice units. And Hallownest Lancers have good base morale, albeit they're not very impressive combatants. So we'll work on that. Also, I'm starting to move out a communion of my own, because I'm like, okay, if you want to play the Earth Magic game, I can actually play the Earth Magic game better than Aurum can. Now that I have these various bugs, I can form a pretty solid Earth Magic communion, and I can also bring a couple of these guys into it and do some damage that way. So we're also going to move, actually no, you research. Let's move our death randoms over there so that we can either add skeletons to our army or we can do something else. There's a bunch of things we can do with death. So that's the plan this turn. Basically, we're falling back, regrouping, still building up gems to summon another soul warrior, which I think we'll do next turn. We'll alchemize some more water gems, and because we've got gear for a lightly equipped thug, we can give him Blue Dragon Scale Mail. He does really want some armor for the higher prot. So we can give him some Blue Dragon Scale Mail, a Vine Shield, and a Frost Brand. That's not too expensive, and it will also increase his morale. So that will let him solo provinces, and then we can have him teleport down here to counterfight these Lars. That'll be fine. I would like to get Mount Frost back, so that may be his first target. Or, alternatively, I could hit Green Coast just to cut Orem off from the income. The problem, of course, is the longer this goes on, the longer Orem holds me off, the more of their territory Satis takes, and that's bad. Satis is really the big winner here, because when I besieged Orem and then lost, Satis made inroads. My dream is further away than ever. Oh, well, no, not further away than ever, but Satis is really, really scary right now. They almost circumnavigate the world. They're fighting a war here. They're poaching off of Aurum. I am really, really frightened of them, to be fully honest. And I would love to solve the issue. I would also love to take out Anor Londo, but that might have to wait. So, we'll see how things go. In any case, that was turn 36, and I'll see you all in turn 37. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mirrorpoint. My mic cable is in my way. Give me just a second to sort out my life here. There we go. Alright, so, this turn, actually, surprisingly, not much happened. I expected Aurum to march out with this army, but instead he appears to be content to kind of turtle in his capital while Satis eats all his land, which I'm surprisingly okay with for right now. I built my fortress over here. I'm building a lab. That's required canceling or cutting back on production in a lot of places. I am still producing great sentries in my capital because I consider that vital to my national interests. I am, however, going to stop recruiting these warrior bugs real quick so that instead of a snail shaman, I can have a soul twister up here. Next turn, I'll be hitting alteration level 6, which will enable me to cast Manifest Vitriol and start replacing my armies with green lions, which I will then proceed to spend a ton of water gems doing. I can summon 9 of them next turn. I don't actually have that many summoners, but I have 4 summoners right here, and so I'll just start pumping out 4 per turn from Daman, which my current water gem income can maintain indefinitely. So I'll build up a whole bunch of green lions and use them to attack Aurum. This turn, I found a crap ton of gems. I took Alluvia from the Independence, and then I found in the Mountains of Evernight a Garden of Pearls and a maze. In Cormark, I found a stone circle, which is a nature site. In the Mountains of Evernight, I also found an enchanted pyre. That's a throne province. Throne provinces always have more sites. So we've got Garden of Pearls, enchanted pyre, and maze. 4 pearls and 1 fire gem per turn. My pearl income is now up to 10. And I cast Dark Knowledge on Nariun Sea and found 3 sites. 2 Black Coral Reefs, which are 1 death gem each, and then 1 Isle of Death, which is 3 death gems. This province is also 5 gems, and they're all death gems. So, holy crap, that's incredible. I love it. That means that I need to defend that site, which is going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to need air-breathing items. Or water-breathing items, rather, because here's the problem. Nom, the Balancer of Scales, has now charged into the water here. And is probably going to go try and take Lake Fortune. I think I'm going to try to warn them off. Satis and I have a non-aggression pact, so basically I'm going to contact him and ask politely that he leave Lake Fortune for me since it's right on my border. If he says no, there's not much I can do about it, but I might as well try. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to ask. Satis is currently definitely winning the game by a huge margin. They have huge territories. They're just generally incredible. I need to try and infiltrate them again, but it's going to take a second. I need to move Quellen in there and try to infiltrate them to find their graphs, and I'm not going to be happy with it. I can freaking guarantee that. He's got shamans here being recruited. He's got armies roaming all over the place. He's got tons and tons of territory. He owns a huge fraction of the map and almost circumnavigates the globe. As I've said, compared to Satis, I am small fry indeed, and so is everybody else. The only hope at this point, actually, is to get a massive coalition together against Satis, because otherwise he's just going to run us over. There's no way of stopping that. He owns all this. He's been fighting Drangleic and beating the crap out of them. He's fighting Ulm, I think. He's not fighting Anor Londo, but he's eating Aurum. It's going to be very, very problematic. Bugsy Seagull is going to hop over here into the Shark Tribe. Shark Tribe are normally very dangerous because they have 3 attacks each. But in this case, I've got 26 protection against mundane attacks. I've got Awe, I have Regeneration, and I'm Ethereal. So first of all, a lot of them are going to fail their attacks until they go Berserk. They do go Berserk. Then almost all of their hits are going to bounce off because their damage is like 13. And then 75% of those that get through will be blocked by the Ethereal, and then I'm regenerating. On top of that, their damage is piercing, and I have Skeletal Body. And with the Fire Shield, they'll also be doing a ton of damage to themselves when they attack. So I think Bugsy Seagull should be able to take this province and secure its income and delicious resources for myself, which will be grand because I need Satis to not own every underwater province without any competition. That's important. I'm summoning another Soul Warrior, and I have items to gear him with. I have Vine Shield, Vine Shield, Blue Dragon, Scale Mail, actually. Frostbrand, Boots of the Messenger. I would love to throw a Ring of Regeneration on him, but once again, that's more gems. It's expensive, and my nature income is still very low. Although my Death, Astral, Earth, and Water gem income aren't all quite high at this point. My Air gem income is very low, my Fire gem income is mediocre, my Nature gem income is low. Overall, my gem income is, I think, about 50. 6, 15, 23, 33, 42, 47 if I've counted correctly, so that's pretty good. Could always be better, of course, but pretty good. And, of course, site searching continues. We're casting Augury, we're casting Voice of Apsu. I think we were casting some other ones. We were casting Gnome Lore somewhere, weren't we? You have somewhere you can cast Gnome Lore at? Alluvia? Yeah, cast Gnome Lore at Alluvia. That'll be good. And, yeah, we're saving our water gems, but we can get you to cast Augury at Alluvia as well. And that'll be fine. So, doing well, moving our troops down to attempt to besiege Orem. It would be great if I could get Orem. And Satis is besieging Skyrim, but doesn't have Skyrim yet. So in terms of provinces that I can see, Satis has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 28, I'm sorry, that doesn't count, 29. Did I count these? 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. They have a lot. Like, they have, I think, 3 times as many as me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I exaggerate, 23, 24. They have about at least half again as much as me, maybe twice as much as me. They might have over 40 provinces, in which case they're close to twice as much as me. It's a huge advantage. Like, I would expect their income to be up around 4,000. I would expect their research to be much, much higher than mine. My research is pretty low for this point of the game, actually. I need to grab Construction 6 and start turning my Fire Gems into Lanterns in order to compete that way. And I also need to start turning my Earth Gems into Hammers in order to make use of all the items I'll be forging. But in order to do all that, I need to have more land. And so it becomes a question of, do I need to organize a coalition against Satis right now and try to stop everyone else from doing anything else in order to do that? Or can I compete with Satis by taking land? If I can grow faster than Satis is growing, then the odds move in my favor. Now, I do have a couple of relatively weak neighbors. Obviously, I have Aurum, although I may not be able to take Orem itself. I have Anor Londo, although Anor Londo has some massive, massive armies that they've just stacked up over time. And my troop count, of course, has taken quite a beating. So I would kind of expect Anor Londo to actually have... let me know kind of about it. I expect that Anor Londo has a larger and more powerful army than me. That said, taking Anor Londo would be extremely valuable. Now, it has 1,000 wall integrity, so it's going to take a long time to beat down, because my siege strength is not high. I would need to spam out a whole lot of Hallownest Lancers, and Hallownest Lancers are not very good at taking out Anor Londo Silver Knights. If we look at Anor Londo real quickly, we can confirm Silver Knights, pretty solid giant sacreds. High defense skill, high prot, very hard for my troops to harm. They're human soldiers. The ones with higher prot I don't think he's making because they're a little bit expensive on resources. But the standard human infantry and human archers, my Hallownest Lancers could fight fairly effectively. Like, these human infantry are almost the same as my Hallownest Lancers, except they have higher attack density because they get to mash closer together, and they do slightly more damage. It is interesting that Hallownest Lancers have these javelins. It almost makes me want to set them to fire and then have them, like, hop over there. In any case, we're spreading out some troops. Actually, I have you casting Augury, and what I should do is I should move these guys to someone else's control. And you can cast... just spam Numbness. Cast spells. So we're going to take those two provinces back. Earl's casting Augury, Monhelte is casting Dark Knowledge. Varric is hopping over here to retake Golem Range with Mount Frost in it, which would be great, because that would give me a few more water gems that I can then turn into Green Lions. Bugsy Seagull's hopping over there to take that province, so I am expanding further. I'm sure Orem is going to come back after me. Once I have my Soul Warrior, I'll hop my Soul Warrior down there to take Green Coast and just troll around being a nuisance. And we'll see what we can do. Satis is clearly rolling up there, but I think I might be able to make a claim for Orem. Hopefully. In any case, that is turn 37, and I'll see you all in turn 38. Alright, Mirrorpoint turn 38. We have hit Alteration 6. Pardon me, I'm a little bit slow right now. And we are spamming out Manifest Vitriol. We're summoning 4 Acid Lions per turn down here in Daman. We took 37 and 33. Unfortunately, I had failed to remember that Haerdalas had said he was moving in on 33. Just trying to poach some Oremite land, which is fair enough. He sent in this Knight Commander of Lothric and 17 Lothric Knights, and then I dropped on them with my Hallownest Lancers and stomped them out. Hilariously, now that's not, I need to emphasize, that is not because Hallownest Lancers can actually in any way, shape, or form take on Lothric Knights. Lothric Knights are way too strong for Hallownest Lancers to fight. I mean, look at these guys. Defense 14, Prot 18, that by itself pretty much negates everything they can do. With a broadsword and a crossbow attack. Comparatively, stat line, garbage. Very, very garbage. But they dropped on this gentleman, Lion Knight Albert the Knight Commander, who is also an arena victor. He had the Champion's Trident, which gives him luck and quickness and 25 extra command and does a whole bunch of damage and attacks twice and gives him a huge defense skill. But none of that was quite enough to save him from being nail-lanced. So you can see, they all come in, they all whack him, he takes a bunch of damage right in the first round from being totally surrounded, so his defense skill is actually 5, and then he gets killed, and once he's killed, he's the only commander, all the Lothric Knights rout, and so we clean them up while they're routing, and their stat lines are bad, because of course routing imposes a very serious penalty on your attack and defense skill. So with that, we were able to trade efficiently with them. My commander came in, just threw a javelin, aced one of my own guys, I think, and that was that. So, excellent, excellent work. Unfortunate, but excellent. Got some unrest. Found a lab in this province where I've been recruiting scouts, so I just have a lab there now. And, as expected, Satis moved the Devourer of Souls up into Lake Fortune. I was attacked in Nariun Sea, however, the province defense that I had pumped into it managed to hold. If we look at Nariun Sea, it was a relatively small force that came to attack me. Very small, actually. He was just bouncing these guys off to see if I would forget to put province defense, which I do sometimes forget to put province defense. But I had remembered this time, so the Ictiids were able to wipe them out with no problem. And the army that was here has actually moved up on land. So I have an invasion of Ictiids and Meros, neither of which are good units, but in large enough numbers they can do some work. So they all moved up onto land. I have a little bit of province defense over here, heavy infantry, nothing too scary. One heavy cavalry. Heavy cavalry charged in, didn't get a kill, got netted, got murdered. The heavy infantry similarly netted and murdered. Ictiids are actually pretty good at that with their nets. So, we killed a Mero. This army, I anticipate, is coming down to Mountains of Evernight in order to try and unclaim the throne. And it's generally going to rampage around causing as much damage as it can, which, I mean, I can appreciate, like, I understand him doing that, so that's fine. We don't have many troops. We do have Zelion the Soul Warrior, fortunately, and he's going to Ethereal, Personal Luck, Astral Shield, and Attack Rear. We've got 5 Great Sentries, 2 Great Stags. In terms of other troops, not a whole lot. We do have kind of an army down here, which was heading south. I may, if I can you reach there in one turn? You can. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to turn this army around. That's fine. We're going to play the waiting game down here. Pump out our, we're going to pump out some Hallownest Lancers for defense purposes, actually. And keep pumping out our Green Lions. This army might come out to get me, but basically at this point I've given up on getting anything to the south of Orem. It's just going to have to be... I'm hoping that I can still get Orem itself and take the High Temple and the Golden Tower for the gem income. But I'm not convinced that even that is going to happen. We've got... Ulm has got... for one thing, they're summoning a whole bunch of Ulmish Longdead, which is a good strategy for them. They've also got a whole bunch of Black Plate infantry here in Ironwood Forest, which I'm not a huge fan of. Like, I get it, but I'm not a huge fan. And we need to start recruiting some more mages, because I think we canceled mage recruitment over here. Yeah, we did. Alright, so pump out some mages. Don't have enough money for any troops. These guys need to run just in case this force shifts north. And up here, we're still casting a whole bunch of remote site searching spells. Just research. We do have 8 water gems, so what we could do is we could go into combat and summon some water elementals at them. I'm not sure what to do about this thing. Like, I have to pretty much kill it. If it comes down here, then my army is just going to stomp it flat. Because, I mean, like, yeah. Just flat stomp. No problem. And you guys can just hold an attack rear. In fact, I can actually shift some of these troops away, I think. Like, those guys can keep moving down just to make sure that we continue the, that we get the pressure on as quickly as we can. These 16 plus those other 5 plus 11 tramplers will be more than enough to take on Sinafe. And in fact, that would mean I don't need Zelion. So we're going to give those troops to Frost here instead. And just, not a specific spell, just cast spells. So Frost can do that, which means Zelion can do this. Zelion can hop whee all the way down over there and take over that Provence. Or he could retake Sinafe after they move out. Now let's have him hop down. Bugsy Seagull, the world's most amazing moth, can also hop over this way to help. Fire Shield, Astral Shield, Skeletal Body. What other spells do you have? Personal Luck, not really relevant. Incinerate would be a pretty cool one, but I think Attack Rear will be more effective. And yeah, we'll have Bugsy Seagull hop over that way. I don't really want to fight Kululus in enemy dominion. Kululus are pretty dangerous. Or they can be, rather. Alright, so I think that's the turn. We're going to move our troops down here, kind of keep him guessing about where we're going. We could actually pull back. We could hop Varric over there to take Green Coast. Or we could hop him right there. Let's hop him right there to take 2 Spruce Forest. And this army will shift over to Golem Range. It's got 12 great sentries, and Omar be spamming numbness. Unless they move the whole army out. Well, if I don't want to be here if they move the whole army out. We'll just duck back into the fort for now. There's no point trying to hold these forever. We're just kind of temporarily trading these back and forth between us and Orem. And yeah, we'll pop those provinces. Satis is going to assault that fort this turn, and then we'll see what we can do. So that's turn 38. In terms of research, we're heading down to Thaumaturgy 6 to start getting Hollow Knights and start leveling them up, which will be rad as hell. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in turn 39.